In today's video, I show you how to install and configure Seafile. Seafile is an open source sync and share platform focusing on reliability and performance. Seafile's built-in collaborative document, CDoc, makes it easy for collaborative writing and publishing documents. It's a good self-hosted option to replace Google Drive or OneDrive. And thanks go out to Crush Override for the suggestion. Let's get Seafile set up. Before we get started, I wanted to let you know that I'm going to be hosting a giveaway once I reach 10,000 subscribers. Stick around to the end to learn more. Also, come join us on Discord. It's a growing community where you can post questions and answers to tech questions, along with just hanging out with like-minded people. Join now so you don't miss out. I'll leave a link down in the description. On to Seafile. Before we can install and set up Seafile, there's a few prerequisites that need to be addressed. 1, we're going to need a separate MariaDB instance. 2, for outside access, you'll need NGINX or a similar way to point a URL to an internal server. 3, we're going to have to create a custom Docker network, Seafile-net. Let's move on to the installation. So to get started, we're going to go up to our Apps tab. We're going to search for Seafile. I'm going to be installing the latest Seafile version, so it's Seafile 11, which is right here in the list. Right here in this button where it says Actions, yours will probably say Install, so go ahead and click Install. Note here in this attention window that comes up, it says that we're going to need a separate MariaDB, and we're going to need a custom network. Let's go ahead and hit OK here, and let's move on. Here we are inside of the template. If you look, there's this big stop right here. I want to call this out. So before continuing, you must create your own custom Docker network for Seafile to work, and I had already mentioned that. All right, step 1, it says in the web UI, navigate to settings and then Docker. I'm going to open a new tab so we don't lose our progress here. So I'm going to find settings, right click on it, and go to open a new tab. We'll go to that new tab. We're in settings here, so we're going to go down to Docker. Then over in the top right corner here, under basic view, we want to switch this over to advanced view. And if we look through the list here, you'll find preserve user-defined networks. Mine's currently set to yes, which is what we need. If yours is set to no, let me show you how to change that. The first thing you're going to need to do is to disable your Docker service. So go up to Enable Docker and drop down and select no. Wait for the Dockers to all shut down and for the Docker service to stop. Once it stops, go back down to preserve user-defined networks. I just changed mine to no so you can see what we have to do. You'll drop down, you'll select yes, scroll down, and hit apply. Once the settings applied, go back to the top, enable the Docker service again, change that back to yes, scroll down, hit apply, and then done. Now that that's done, let's go back to our Seafile container and look at step 2. Step 2 says we need to open the Unraid terminal and type docker network create Seafile-net. So let's go do that. Top right corner, you'll find your terminal icon. Click onto there. Once again, I'm going to do a new tab. We'll go to the terminal icon. And in here, we're going to type docker network create and then the name that it needs. So that is going to be Seafile-net, just like that. Once you have it in there, go ahead and press enter. And it says that I already have one. Let me show you how to verify that. We're going to type in there docker network list, just like that. Press enter, and it'll show you all the networks. And you'll see here, I've already got Seafile-net. All right, we're good here. So I'm going to type exit and get rid of this window. Let's go back to our container. Scrolling down a little bit. Step 3, make sure that network type under advanced view is set to Seafile-net. Let's do that. Down here, network type, we're going to drop down and select custom Seafile-net. On to step 4, database setup, assuming MariaDB, which is what we're going to be using. We need to create a new database container that has nothing on it. A couple of my previous videos, I did a video on MariaDB and one on AdMiner. If you don't have AdMiner installed or MariaDB and you need to get these set up, I'll leave links to those videos down in the description and you can go check that out. All right, step 4 says to create a new MariaDB container named Seafile-MariaDB. Now note here, this took a little bit of fighting with it. Once I RTFM'd and figured out what it actually wanted, it was a lot easier. A lot of trial and error here, but it has to be its own separate database container. You can't use an existing MariaDB container and create a database for it. It has to be its own separate thing. And with that, the network for it must be set to Seafile-net. If you look at step 5 here, it kind of spells that out. Set the container name to Seafile-MariaDB. This is important. And then here it says set the network type to Seafile-net. And then also note the root password that you used. So we're going to need that. So let's go do that. Let's jump to our other tab. We're going to go up to apps. We're going to search for MariaDB. There it is in the list. I'll be using the Linux servers version. This is one I've used in the past and it works well. So here, if you don't have any MariaDB set up, this will say install. I already do. And I'm going to install as a second instance. So I'm going to click on actions and click install second instance. But before I do that, if you don't have install second instance available, let me show you where to enable that at. We're going to go up to apps. Once there, in the bottom left, we're going to click on settings. Then the third option down for me here says allow install of second instance. We want to set this to yes. If yours is no, just drop down and select yes, then hit apply, then done. Now Unraid will let you install a second instance of the same application. Let's jump back to our container here where we're installing it. All right, so now let's go get that installed. Back in the search box, we'll type in MariaDB. Like I said, I'm going to be using the Linux servers version. We'll go to actions or install, then install a second instance. The attention window here, if you get this, is just saying that the port's already in use. We'll address that soon. Go ahead and hit OK. First thing we need to change up here is the name. Right now it says MariaDB-1-1. This needs to be named Seafile-MariaDB. This is why I said you had to have your own separate instance for it, because if you already have MariaDB installed, it's not named this. Going down under network type, we're going to drop down and select our custom Seafile-net network. Scroll all the way down. We're going to expand to show Docker allocations. And right now it said that a port number was in use, which is this one here. And it's already for my other MariaDB instance. So we'll verify that, double click, Control F on the keyboard. Shows me 3, 1, 2, scrolling down. You'll see my other instance right there is using it. So we're going to need to change that to a different port number. Going back up, I typically like to increase by 1 just to keep it close to the original. That way I've kind of got a standard system set up and I kind of have an idea of what it's going to be. So 3306 is the default one, so I'm going to change it to 3307. Once again, double click, Control F, and it shows one result right there. No other results are found, nothing down here. That one's free, we can use that one. The next item down is the MySQL root password. This needs to be a strong password, so make sure this is secure. And it'd be a good idea to save this somewhere so you don't forget what it is. Everything else is fine. We can just leave it on the defaults. We're not going to be using them anyhow. So scroll down. I'm going to hide my Docker allocations just to clean it up, and then hit apply. Then I'm going to hit done. All right, now we can actually go install SeaFile. If you don't have the existing container still open, then you can just go back to your apps tab and search for SeaFile here. Like I said, we're going to be doing version 11. You'll see it there. Drop down, hit install. I already have it started over here, so I will just go back there, scroll down, and carry on. All right, network type. We're going to change this from our bridge network down to our new Seafile-net network. Scroll down. As always, we're going to expand show Docker allocations. We're going to search for port 8080 to see if it's available, which I'm sure it's not. Double click on it, Control F on the keyboard. Shows 2 available, 1 there, and 1 by the Qubit Torrent VPN. So it's in use, like I thought. So we're going to change this to the next number higher. And I already know, I've checked earlier, that I need to go to 8085, so I've got a few already used up. So just search for an available port, change it to something that's available. I'll search, make sure, yep, shows just 1. So 8085 works for me. The Seafile hostname. Here I'm going to put in my URL that I'm going to use for this. So I'll leave Seafile and then have it .alientech42.com. Next option down here is the SQL host. And this is already defined as the Seafile-MariaDB. That's the database container that we just created. Next option down is SQL root password. This is change me. We need to change this to the same password that you had set for your MariaDB that you just created. So whatever password you used, make sure to put that in there. Mine, since this is a demo, is just super secret password. I'll be deleting this, so no worries there. Next down, the admin email. We need to put an email address here for a legit email account. I'll be using my demo one, and then the admin password. Once again, super secret. Last item on the list here is data. We need to have a shared data location, so we need to create a data share. So to do that, I'm going to go open my other tab here, go over to shares, go down to the bottom, click add share. I'm going to name this SeaFile. Comments, that's up to you. I'm just going to put in data location for SeaFile, just like that. Primary storage, this is kind of up to you. I'm going to leave it on array just because I don't think I'm going to have a lot of read and writes going to it. I see no benefit of the cache drive for me. If you need it, then go ahead and just drop down and select, cache. All disks are fine, nothing excluded, everything's good. Click add share, and that'll create the data share. We're done there, click done. We'll make sure it's listed there. Yep, it's all good, it's on the array. Let's go back to our container. We'll make sure that is selected, and that's the default location, so it's already got it. So once you have everything set, go ahead and hit apply, and then done. While it's installing, why don't you come join us in Discord? I'll leave a link in the description. All right, now that SeaFile is installed, let's go set it up. We don't need the other tab open, so I'm gonna go ahead and close that. Let's jump to our Docker tab now. All right, first thing in here is the Seafile MariaDB and the Seafile 11. I wanna make sure the auto start is turned on. Now let's go configure SeaFile. Over on the left, click on the SeaFile icon, drop down and select Web UI. We're prompted with the login page. The admin email that we're going to enter here is the one that we set up in the container. For me, I did demo@alientech42, and then the password, the super secret password, which in my case was password. And now we're logged in. One thing to note here, in order to be able to use SeaFile externally, we need to configure the settings and to create a DNS entry to point to our server from the outside. Well, that's another whole video in itself. If you use NGINX, then you can go see my video on NGINX Proxy Manager for details on how to do that. I'll leave a link in the description, or you can click on the card here or here, wherever it's at. All right, now let's go to the top right and click on the avatar icon. For some reason, mine's not displaying right. It is on my other machine, so I'm not too concerned about it in the demo in here, but regardless, it's up here in the top right. Let's jump down to settings. And here you can change your avatar icon. You can enter your name. Next line down, you can change your password. Below that, you can select your language, several to choose from. Next down, we have email notifications, and these are notifications you can get on file changes or for notifications for collaboration. You can choose the option you want, and then when you're done, hit submit. Very last option is to delete your account. We're done with this section. Let's go back to our avatar icon, drop down, and we're going to select System Admin. The info option here just shows you basic information on the system, files, storage used, and devices connected. Statistics is next option down, and that shows the stats of the SeaFile server. You can break it down by file usage, storage, users, traffic, or other reports. And since this is a brand new server, there's no data at all right now. Next option down is devices. Here it shows you all the connected devices for both desktop and mobile. Once again, brand new setup. I have nothing connected to it right now. Next option down is settings. Here you'll find the service URL. So in here you put in the URL that you're going to use for the outside access. Whatever your domain is, .com. If you look below here, you'll see examples of what it's looking for. And I had said that I use NGINX Proxy Manager for this. So for me, I'd enter something like, seafile.alientech42.com. Next down, we have the file server root, which is going to be the same that you had under the service URL, except for it's going to have the /CF/HTTP. Note here on this file server root, this is kind of important. I missed this to begin with. I changed these to my actual domain so I could actually show you the feature here. So that's why it's all grayed out. But I wanted to show you this here. The internal URL for downloading and uploading files. Users will not be able to download, upload files if this is not set correctly. So if you are copying files in here and it's erroring on it, this is where you fix that at. If you config SeaFile behind NGINX or Apache, it should be the service URL, which is what we have up here, /CF/HTTP. And it gives you like an example here. Now, what I missed here is I didn't change this to an S, HTTPS, and that was causing it to fail. Came back here, realized that I forgot the S, put the S here. Everything's working great now. Just wanted to point that out to you. So once you've got your address in there, click the check mark to save it. Next down, we have branding. The site title, you can put in whatever you'd like here. Right now it says private SeaFile. I'm going to change this to Alien Tech Demo. Site name, and look at that. I didn't hit the check mark like I just told you. All right, let me go back here to the title. I'm going to change it to Alien Tech Demo. Once again, make sure to hit check mark. Site name, SeaFile. Yeah, I'm going to go like that. Save it. Logo, if you have your own logo, you can upload a logo here. Has the requirements of the size here. So 256 pixels by 64 pixels. All right, next down is favicon. Up here, if you look in the top of your browser next to the tab here, you'll see the little icon for the page. That's what that is. So if you want to change it to your own custom icon, then you're going to need something that's 32 by 32 pixels. You can just hit change here and then browse to the file that you want it to be. Background image is the login background image. You can once again change that. Down under user. And here's all the user details. We can allow new user registrations. This being unchecked prevents anyone from creating a new account. Next option down is activate after registration, which basically, if this is enabled, it just automatically activates their account. If this is unchecked, then an administrator will have to activate the account for them. And I don't need to go through all the details here. You can read. Keep signed in for set number of days. You can put that there, login attempts, so on and so forth. Going down further, we've got password. You can force strong passwords. You can force password change after the account's been created or reset. Minimum password length, strength level, 2FA. You can pretty much customize it however you'd like. And down further, we have library. You got different settings here for the history, for the encryption, lots of different settings. Now let's go over to libraries over on the left side here. This shows you all the libraries that are on the system. To create a new library, you click on New Library in the top left. Give it a name. We'll just call this Demo. For owner, you can select an individual user, or you can just leave it blank, and that'll be owned by the admin. Once you're happy with your settings, you hit Submit, and it creates a new library. All right, now let's go over to users on the left side here. This will show you all the users in the system. Currently, there's just one, my demo account here. From here, you can import users, you can add a user, or you can export a list of users to Excel. So I'm gonna click Add User here just to create another user. Put in their email. Just gonna make up something here. So let's call it demo@me.com. And for name, let's go with Bob. There we go. Password, we'll just create something super secret. Password, yep, spelled correctly. Password again, and submit. Now Bob has an account as well. All right, let's go to groups over on the left. Here you can create a new group, which is used for grouping users together. Top options are new group and export to Excel. Just like anything else, new group, put in the group name, select the user as the owner. We'll call this demo group, owner, put in the user, hit submit, group's created. Next down, we have notifications. And here this creates a system-wide notification. Up in the top left, you click add new notification, put in your message here, and hit submit. Next down, we have links. Currently, there's no shared links, but this will show a list of all shared and upload links. All right, now let's go over how to use SeaFile. Up in the top left, I'm going to click on the SeaFile logo. Here it shows the list of libraries, the demo one I had created, and then the My Library that comes default. Find a library you'd like, you can click on it, and it'll open it up. Since this is a blank library, it says that there's no content at this time, and you can quickly add a file by clicking one of these options here. Let's add a Word file. Let's call this, demo, hit submit. There's a file. Now that we have a file in here, it opens up some more possibilities. Now you can right click in here. You can create a new folder, new file, new markdown file, new Excel file, PowerPoint, and Word. So from within here, you can actually just drag and drop files. So I'm gonna drag a folder in and it copies the files and uploads it. And it even created a folder to put them into. So now we can go into there and you'll see both files listed there. Let's go back one and close this. You can go up to the top and you can upload a file here. So we can click upload. We'll choose a file. We'll choose one that I just uploaded, open, and there it shows you it's been uploaded. And the files that you've got uploaded, notice these stars in front, these mark it as a favorite. You can favorite a whole folder, or you can do just individual files. All right, back on the left, shared with me. There's currently nothing in here. There's no shared libraries. To share a library, you can go back to libraries. I'll choose my library here. I'm gonna hover over it. And over here in the center, you'll have a little icon for sharing. Click on that icon. To create a shareable link, you can click on generate link. Here you can choose if you want to add password protection to it, and you can add an auto expiration. I'll do both. You enter your password, and here's the requirements. Has to be at least 10 characters and include one of the following: number, uppercase, lowercase, and another symbol. So I'll put in a favorite one. I'll turn on the auto expiration. Here you can set it to expire after a certain amount of days or a certain date and time. I'm going to do the expire for 1 day. Then I'll hit generate. And here you'll see it created a unique URL. Has the password listed here and the expiration date and time. You can copy the URL here, or you can create a QR code from it. It's pretty nice that SeaFile has the ability to share files, but what if you wanted to have a spot where people could upload files to you? It's got the provision for that too. Below the share link, you've got upload link. You can do the same thing. You can add password protection to it, auto expiration. I'm just gonna hit generate here just to show you what it does. Once again, same thing, generates a link. You can copy it or get a QR code for it. It's kind of nice. But let's say you didn't want to send it outside of the server. You want it to be just an internal share. You can do that as well. You can share it to an individual user. You can select the user here. I think demo was one. Oh, Bob. It was Bob. Let's give Bob access. Then you can set the permission level, read and write, or read only. We're just going to allow Bob to look at it. And you hit submit. You can also share it to a group as well. You select the group, whatever permission you want. Once again, I'll do read only, submit it, and that group has access to this file as well. It's got some pretty powerful features. All right, we'll close out of here and go back to the left. Next, we have shared with all and shared with groups. This is pretty much the same as shared with me. It just shows you what's shared with everybody or what's shared with certain groups. All right, now let's go down under tools. Favorites were there when we marked a couple items as favorites. They'd be listed here. So you click on favorites and it'll show the ones that you've marked as favorites. There's the test folder and the one config file. Next down, we have activities. This shows all activities or just your activities yourself. Shows you everything that's been done. And there's my activities. Next down, we have published libraries. I've not published any libraries yet, but a published library can be accessed by anyone, not only users, via its URL. You can publish a library by clicking on the Publish a Library up here. Select which one you want to share. Yeah, we'll do my library. We'll hit submit. And now that library has been published. Next down, we have linked devices. Linked devices shows a list of devices that have been attached to SeaFile, so desktops, cell phones, that kind of stuff. Currently don't have any attached, so there's nothing there. Next one down, we have Share Admin. This allows the admin to modify or delete the shares. So we can look at libraries. We can see these shares have been created and we're like, oh, yeah, Bob should not have access to this. We can come in here and delete it out. Same goes with folders, but I don't believe I've got any shared. All right, now I had mentioned linked devices here. Let me show you how to add a client. In the bottom left, you can click on Clients. From here, you can download SeaFile Desktop Client for Windows, Mac, and Linux from SeaFile's official download page. Simply click on the link, and it takes you to their page. You can see here it's got desktop syncing clients for Windows, Mac, Linux, and a terminal. It's got desktop drive clients for the same devices. Scrolling down a little bit, you'll find mobile clients for both Android and iPhone. And you've got options for generic Linux servers, Raspberry Pis. There's all kinds of stuff here. It's kind of nice. It includes a QR code for Android devices, so you can just scan it, and it takes you right to the download. I'm going to install the desktop drive client. Notice here it says the drive client enables you to access files on the server without syncing to your local disk. So it's just like a network drive. It allows you to get to the files, but doesn't actually put them on your machine. The syncing client here does. It'll copy it both to your server and to your local workstation. So I'll click on the file, downloads, install real quick. Next, install, hit yes, and finish. Next, you got to choose the cache folder, which the default is fine for me. This is a temporary thing for me anyhow. Hit OK, pops up another window. You put in the information here. So https:// your URL that you created, the user account that you created, enter that next, and the password associated with it. Computer name, this is the name that is going to be listed as the device. It pulls in the default from the machine, which is good for me. I'll hit login. It's loaded up. It says all libraries are loaded and ready for use. Find it in the start menu here, start C drive. And we open up and there's all of our files. Here's my library, the pfSense config file, everything's there. If you wanted to install it on your Android phone or your iPhone, you can just scroll down, do the same thing, go to the App Store, obviously do this from your device. One thing to note on the app for the cell phone is when you go to add the account, you have to do other SeaFile server as the account. And then from there, you just enter the server details, email, password, and then you log in. Once you get your SeaFile set up on your cell phone, then you'll have access to all the files on your SeaFile server, and they'll be available to you from pretty much anywhere. So now that you have SeaFile set up, are you going to get rid of Google Drive or OneDrive? It's kind of nice to host stuff on your own machines. That way you know where it's at. It's not in the cloud somewhere, and you don't know who's looking at it. That's pretty much it. But before we go, I wanted to tell you some more details on the upcoming giveaway. I'm in the process of working with a couple of sponsors right now to get some items for the giveaway. Currently in talks with Unraid and private internet access. Nothing is set in stone at the moment, so subscribe and stay tuned as I'll be releasing the official rules in a future video. Like always, if you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, consider becoming a Patreon. Patreon members get early access to my videos, and they are ad and sponsor free. The link is down in the description. Until then, check out one of these next, and I'll see you in the next one.